Hi, welcome to Off the Shelf with Christine and friends. This month is for our history lovers and bookworms. Join us as we share some historical fiction books that don't just tell history, they make you feel it, bringing pivotal characters and events to life. We're going to look at some of the recent and upcoming book releases this year with a focus on books that are either by or about women for Women's History Month as well. We hope you enjoy these titles and you can either read them now, add them to your TBR list for later, and maybe you might even find a new favorite or two. For now, settle in, grab a cup of your favorite beverage, and enjoy these recommendations. Let us know in the comments what you think of these picks and if you have any other books that you would like to recommend. If you want to be notified of new videos, make sure you like and subscribe below. As always, let's get on to those books. Our first selection is The Bookbinder's Secret by A.D. Bell, and this is a historical fiction mystery that delves into the specialized craft of hand bookbinding and rare book collecting taking place during the early Edwardian era. Now, it's set in 1901 and it follows Lillian Delaney, a young bookbinder's apprentice who discovers a hidden 50-year-old letter that leads her into a mystery involving forbidden love and murder. Now we have a few that are taking us back to ancient Egypt. First up is Cleopatra by Sarah El Arifi. Now, this is a reimagined memoir told by the last pharaoh of Egypt, Cleopatra herself. It dismantles some of the historical viewpoints of Cleopatra as only a seductress or a sorceress or even a villain, and it instead presents her as a very strategic, intellectual, and protective ruler. Following that, we have Daughter of Egypt by Marie Benedict. And this is set in the 1920s, and it involves Lady Evelyn Herbert, who is trying to make a name for herself by unearthing the tomb of Hatshepsut, which is Egypt's first female pharaoh. There had been rulers prior to her, but she was the first to really embody the role of pharaoh that only men had previously held before that, even going so far as to wear a fake beard to secure her position. Now, Lady Evelyn is the daughter of Lord Carnarvon, who was one of the financiers of Carter's discovery of the dig of Tutankhamun, and she was also involved in that. Next up, we have Now I Surrender by Alvaro Enrique, and this is a re-examination of how the West was won. And this novel reimagines that 19th century Mexico-U.S. border wars through the stories of a woman who was fleeing an Apache raid and the pursuit of Geronimo's surrender. Now we have The Hired Man by Sandra Dallas. This transports readers to the turbulent Dust Bowl of 1937 Colorado, when the Kelser family takes in Otis Hobbs, who is a drifter who saves a local boy during a devastating storm. But suspicion in their small town will turn to a violent frenzy when a teenager turns up murdered after his appearance, and deep-seated prejudices will be coming to light. Now we have something a little bit different in The Geomagician by Jennifer Mandula. This is based on the life of pioneering English fossil collector and paleontologist Mary Anning, but it's got a little bit of a fantasy twist to it. So when this Victorian fossil hunter discovers a baby pterodactyl, she vows to protect him with the help of a fellow scholar, who also turns out to be her former fiance. Now, I have another historical fantasy for you in The Beheading Game by Rebecca Lehman. Now, after she's beheaded and buried in an arrow chest, a resurrected Anne Boleyn sits up, sews her head back on, and escapes the Tower of London to seek revenge on Henry VIII. Should be interesting. Next, we have The Last Woman of Warsaw by Judy Battalion. This is set in 1938, 1939 Warsaw, and we have two young Jewish women, one a privileged photographer and the other an activist, who join forces to find their missing photography professor. The story explores this little unlikely friendship and survival amidst the mounting anti Semitism of the time right before the Nazi occupation of Poland. Next up, we have a new book by the author of Hamnet, which is one of my favorites, and I really can't wait to see the movie that came out last year. But her upcoming release is Land by Maggie O'Farrell. And this is partly inspired by the author's own family history. It's set in 1865 Ireland, and it follows Tomas and his son Liam, who are mapping the country for the Ordnance Survey. But amidst the devastation of the Great Hunger Potato Famine, an encounter on a windswept peninsula forever changes the courses of their lives. Now, from the duo that co authored The Personal Librarian, we have A Pair of Aces, and this is by Marie Benedict and Victoria Christopher Murray. This is a historical thriller that follows the unlikely alliance between Eunice Carter, who was Manhattan's first Black female prosecutor, and Polly Adler, a high class madam, as they set out to take down notorious 1930s mob boss Lucky Luciano. Now it's time for library picks. These are a few recommendations from some of my fellow coworkers in the library. Some of them you might have read already, but or you might have missed them when they first came out. No matter what, they are all definitely a good read, so check them out if you haven't already. First up, we have from Jenna from Public Relations, we have the book The Warm Hands of Ghosts by Catherine Arden. And it is a historical fantasy novel set during World War I, following Canadian combat nurse Laura as she searches for her brother Freddie, who is presumed dead in the trenches. Now, to me, this sounds like a perfect fit for those who enjoyed The Women by Christian Hanna, which is a recommendation of librarian Morgan. Another Christian Hanna recommendation from Morgan, as well as our director Kate, is The Nightingale, which is being made into a movie to be released early next year. Both of these picks are about women during wars and their experiences, which are perfect for this month, as per Morgan. And another pick from Morgan following our war theme is The Rose Code by Kate Quinn. And this highlights the importance of women codebreakers during World War II. Going a little further back in time and recommended by reference librarian Annalie, we have Wolf Hall by Hilary Mantel. Now, this focuses on the political maneuverings that helped Henry VIII annul his marriage to Catherine of Aragon so that he would be able to marry Anne Boleyn. Another pick, also by Annalie and recommended by Jenna as well, is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. I have been wanting to read this book ever since I read Circe by the same author. I just love how she brings these mythological people who are inspired by historical people and historical events from the golden age of Greece to life. Annalie's final pick is The House of Spirits by Isabel Allende. Now, this is a family saga following a Latin American family through the 20th century, and it blends magical realism with Chilean political history. Another generational saga recommendation comes from librarian Liz. It's also another favorite of mine as well, and it is The Island of Sea Women by Lisa C. It is set on the Korean island of Jeju, and this novel explores the friendship between two young girls starting in the 1920s during the Japanese rule in Korea, and it continues through the present day. It was a fascinating read. Jenna and myself as well also recommend Horse by Geraldine Brooks. Now, this connects the story of a legendary 19th century racehorse, Lexington, with modern day characters and uncovers his history and explores themes of race, art, science, and some of America's reckoning with racism. If you prefer the nonfiction story of this horse's life, you can try Lexington by Kim Wickens, which was a favorite of our history book club. And speaking of nonfiction, we have a few of those picks for you for Women's History Month. First off, we have two recommended by Jenna. We have We Refuse by Kelly Clarkson Jackson and Say Nothing by Patrick Radin Keith. Recommended by Morgan, we have Spitfires by Becky Aikman, which is about female pilots in World War II, which she said is something she didn't know existed. She also recommends The Radium Girls by Kate Moore. She just said it was a crazy good read. It also takes place in New Jersey, and it's an upcoming read for our New Jersey book club as well. So if that's something you're interested in, check out our calendar, and we hope you will join us there. We hope you enjoyed these picks. You can let us know in the comments if you have any other historical fiction novels you can't wait to be published this year, or if you have any you've read that you would love to recommend. Until next time, though, happy reading. Take care.